just watched your amazing documentary. I'll just need to take a deep breath. Right here. Okay. Sheldon, thank you so much for being with us today to engage in this conversation. I want to start off by that theme song. Some of behind the scenes, and when we were setting this up, was a special request to have this song played as it came out. Can you tell us the significance of this particular song and why it means so much?
I think when I was in the hospital, after I decided not to take the pills, that song came on my phone, and just listening to the words, I didn't even hear kind of the music in the background. It was just more just the words. That was really resonating with me, I guess.
I think that's something we all need a theme song. I'd love to walk into a room with some of that unstoppable vibe. I think it sets a tone for what the theme is of what we're trying to get across is resilience, you know, and what strength actually looks like.
Sorry.
No apologies needed. You take your time and you let us know what's in this, right?
It's okay.
We appreciate the fact that you're here. There was a pending Air Canada strike, and so the fact that he's here in person, I think, speaks to why this is all meant to happen. And so, did that all get navigated, or are you stuck in Calgary for a little bit, or is the flight booked on the way home?
No, I'm going home, not by choice, but
You're hoping you were stuck.
I'd rather be in Calgary.
I was gonna jump right into this, but why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Tell us a little bit about Sheldon. We've just watched this documentary, but what else do you want us to know about who you are? We got time.
There's not a whole lot about me. Sorry.
No.
This is the breakfast that I ate today. So, I guess going. No, I'm okay. Before going through this, I was very what do you call it? Extrovert. I don't know. Am I facing the right way? Okay. I was an introvert, so I'd be out and about doing things, and always kind of had a smile on my face and doing things the way I wanted to do things. And then for whatever reason, this kind of happened, and it for a while it's kind of changed kind of who I am and how I think about things. But grew up in Vancouver, born in Edmonton, went to SAIT, just kind of what I thought was just a normal kind of athlete. Father of 2 daughters at the time, and then had Jaden, which is my best friend. So it's I just thought I was just a regular guy, nothing crazy. And then wham, this happens. And I was telling Chrissy upstairs, this isn't easy. And I was holding it together for her pretty good. And then she left. And then it just kind of, so if we have any anybody to fib, if anybody to blame for this, it's Christy.
Blame Christy. I never blame.
But this isn't, it's not easy, because, I'm living this. Every day, and it's not a story of the past. It's kind of my everyday, so I know that didn't answer your question about who I am, but it's hard to go back to who I was versus who I am right now, because just to hear that video, it's like a nightmare to know that it's kind of where I pivoted.
Sheldon, I think your response is very human, and with some of the families that we work with, some of the people that we may know in our own personal lives, they're experiencing and feeling what you're feeling. And so the fact that you're here and the fact that you were able to share your story, I think speaks to strength. And so that's something that we're privileged that we get to be part of. Just thinking about that, what are some of the things that have kept you going?
Probably the biggest one is just my ignorance to give up, my perseverance. I go through, when I say I'm living this, I go through challenges every day. So, I get called a black nigger. I get spit on. This is my second stick that I've been through. I've had people push me down. I've been hit by a truck because they said I deserve to be in a wheelchair. I've been denied services because I'm not in a wheelchair. Just being on this side or being in this position, I don't know if this is God's purpose for me to be able to speak when people aren't spoken for. A stat for you: 100 people go blind in Canada, 25 of them commit suicide, and so I was close to being one of those 25. I tried it in the hospital, and then I tried to put a bullet in my head last March, just because every day I gotta defend, every day I gotta fight, every day I have to survive. And so I guess just more my ignorance and just my stubbornness, if you would, to kind of keep going and keep persevering and trying to succeed, is probably my biggest reason of why I keep going. I don't have, So, you guys watched the video. Those two people in the video, they're not around anymore. And they left. And when you're kind of going through crap, you kind of hope that people kind of come to you you need. And both of those people are gone. And the hardest one is my son. That's the hardest one. So I'm fighting this fight in hopes that one day he comes back, and maybe I'm not looked at as a burden. Maybe he will come back in what way, shape, or form. But I'm fighting for just that. I told Christy upstairs, if there was one thing that God gave me, I wouldn't even. And he said, "Your sight or your son, I'd take my son."
I appreciate you being vulnerable to share that with us. And I think some of the words that came up when I watched this, you're right, the perseverance, the strength, that fight to keep going. And I think part of this is exactly as hard as it is being able to hold space and having these conversations, because there may be someone in this room that also needs to hear it. And so the fact that you're here sharing this with us, I think there's something that each and every one of us in this room can take away, and it's that fight. I think that's what we're all trying to strive for in the work that we do, is how do we inspire and keep our, whether it's our clients, our families, a brother, a sister, whoever, how do we keep fighting? It's a big message. I'm gonna change, because you talk about purpose, and I'm just gonna pull this quote. When you look at the Langley Secondary School, they say they were an inexperienced group searching for identity. Can you say more about your interaction with coaching and coaching the girls basketball team?
Well, that's a funny one, because I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty good coach, and I've been coaching for probably over 2 decades, and so I could go coach anywhere. I could coach one of the top 10 schools in the province, and I was wanted, and I thought, why don't I take my talents to a school that doesn't get the opportunity or the the desire or the want of a good coach to be able to come and share his knowledge and his wisdom and his care for a program. And so I knew that just from refereeing and just me playing in general, I knew that Langley never had those doors open for them to have somebody of my caliber walk through the door and basically say, "Hello, I'm here to coach you," because they probably didn't even know why. They probably couldn't understand why. And then when I lost my vision, I did quit. I gave up. I quit the day I was going into the hospital, and then something inside me said, I need to go back. I can't let them down. I've got them this far. I can't let them down because of this stupid thing. So going in there was a big question mark in the province. Why is Sheldon going to Langley Secondary? That makes no sense. He could go to a top 5 school in the province, but they needed me and I needed them, and I just felt the energy. I needed to, that's where I needed to be, and that was my purpose. Winning and losing games wasn't the focal point. Seeing those girls succeed in life. I don't know if you guys remember who Maya was in the video, but she's like my little daughter. She almost got in a fight with another coach because of me, because I was blind and the coach was bugging me because I was blind. She got right up in his face and was gonna knock him out. And this is a grade 11 girl and knock out a grown man. So
Protective of you. I think that speaks to the relationship that you're able to
100%.
cultivate.
So she's actually in the Netherlands right now, and she WhatsApps me all the time. She's doing her school in the Netherlands, and she tells me about quotes I've said to her, or things I've said to her, or there's a picture, if Christy's here, there's a picture on my Facebook that a parent took. We were at a tournament last year, last year. And I was sitting in the coach's chair, and I was subbing her in, and she was here, and I put my forehead on her head, and she was watching the game. I was telling her something, I don't know, maybe go out there and shut down their star player or something like that. But the moment that parent captured was me leaning my head on Maya, and Maya just watching the game and just kind of intaking what I had to say to her. She's now graduated. She's in college or university. She's in the Netherlands, and she still connects with me regularly. Makes sure I'm good. She makes sure I have my marble cheese because I like marble cheese. So
Marble cheese.
Yeah, so she's so good at that. Yeah. So you know, they didn't have an identity before I got there, and I was able to, because of who I was and in the basketball community, create an identity even before I lost my vision. But then when I lost my vision, I thought it was very important for me to go back and not give up, because they're just used to people coming in and coming out, coaching for 1 year, coaching for half a year, the program changing consistently. And so it was my focal point to say no, I'm going through my own stuff. I need to put that to the side and really focus in on these people, because this is who I dedicated my time to.
I want to read something because the theme of masculinity came up, and it's a conversation point that we have in a lot of our father-focused programs. And so you said, I want to be an advocate for women's sports, for putting them on a pedestal and allowing them to be put at the threshold just like guys are.
Yeah.
Can you speak more to just the notions of masculinity and what that means to you, how it's shifted? Because I think it's a really important conversation piece.
Yeah.
This conversation.
Well, you know, I'm a father of daughters, and you know, I push my daughters to be the best that they can be, regardless of who's in front of them, whether that's a female or a male. I want them to be the best individuals they can, and that's one of the reasons I went to LSS and coached the girls program, because I wanted those girls to know that somebody else cares, and somebody else is in their corner. And you know, not to go into politics or anything like that, but I hope the United States has their first ever female president, because I don't see there a reason not to be. And so when I go and advocate for women in general, I don't advocate because they how do I want to say this? I don't advocate because it's the right thing to do. I advocate because I believe that's the best decision, and it doesn't matter if it's a man or a female, man or woman. I fight for women because I see a lot more. Listen, I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I don't like coaching boys. They're stinky boys. I don't like boys. I tell my own damn kid that. I don't like coaching you. You stink. You don't listen, and I don't like coaching you. So I can.
Comes out.
Yeah, the truth, yeah. Since we're having a conversation, the truth is coming out. So I coached him for 3 years, and I said, "Get on. You go be coached by somebody else." Women listen. Girls listen. I tell them to go here, there, there. They go here, there, there. I tell a boy to go here, there, there, and he's over here. So I'm like, forget that noise. So for me, to be honest, it's a little bit easier to coach girls because they listen. So, but in all honesty, you know, when I first came to LSS, a lot of those girls said they were going to college. They were going to college. They were going to play basketball at the college level. I've got 3 that have played at the college level. Not because of me, because of the work they put in, and just because of the stages that I put them on for them to be seen by college coaches. They never got that exposure before. And I think my tryout, my first tryout in 2020, I had 47 girls in my tryout, and they never had 6. Like, they scrambled to put together teams. Yeah, so that was my second tryout, and I just told them, I said, I'm not coaching you to go to WNBA, but if you go to the WNBA, I'll take 30%. So I didn't, I wasn't expecting anything like that, but I just told them I want to coach them to be better people in the world. So I just believe in them. I I just want to be one, one other advocate in their corner to say, you can do it, and I don't see there's a reason why. So
One of the things in the documentary was towards the end, the notion of asking for help. What's that like for you? Why?
I heard this guy.
Why is that
I'm with
important?
you.
Why is that an important thing, especially when we're engaging in conversation around mental health and mental wellness?
So, I did wish I got these questions before, because there's something I posted on my Facebook. Christy can go grab it. There's a picture of something that talks about asking for help and where it stems from. And one of the things that I'm learning about myself is the reason I can't ask for help is basically from my roots, from where I was raised from. Like, feelings didn't matter, your opinion didn't matter, just bury it and carry on with life. So, going through this poop show, it's really hard to ask for help because of where I've come from. Yeah? So when people say, oh yeah, Brenda and Deb, they're my mom's in Alberta. They drive me around everywhere, but I feel like a burden sometimes, asking for help all the time. And that has nothing to do with them, but it just has to do with where I was, like how I was raised in my childhood. So really digging deep down and understanding that. And I can share that post with Christy again so she can see it. But it really resonated to me. I read it, and it really defined who I was. I literally, not usually a crier, but I cried, and I was just like, holy crap, like that's that, So asking for help, man, as an independent, strong, extrovert man, now you gotta go. Now you're an introvert, and you have to ask for help. Like I gotta ask for help all the time. And is it easy? No. Is it hard? Yeah. Do I accept it? No. But there are some really good people out there that do help me. There's a few percentages that are pretty crappy. And that's, I guess, for the 10 good people that I meet, the 2 that are kind of crappy to me, then that throws me back into the dark hole. Yeah, and makes me think, why am I doing this and why am I asking for help? So then I really got to think about, why am I doing this and why am I trying to persevere forward? And is it okay to ask for help? So at a restaurant, I feel comfortable now telling the server, introducing her to myself, and telling her that I'm blind and I can't see. And if you put a drink right here, it's gonna end up on the floor if you don't tell me. And if it's water, that's cool. If it's wine, I'm pissed. That's alcohol, wasted alcohol, right? And I don't know how many people are in here, but how many people want to waste alcohol? Exactly, right? So I'm like that. So if you do see me in a restaurant, I'm on the ground with a straw, it's because she didn't tell me where the dang drink was. So, and I don't want to waste the alcohol. So
Sheldon, I was hoping you were going with it. So because not with the alcohol thing, but a lot of the things that we hear in our programs is that notion of, in our culture, in how society views, and we don't share our feelings. We don't talk about our emotions.
No. We were told not to.
Right.
As men, we were told not to. And so, so for all the men in here, can you just say hello?
Hello.
So there's a lot of you guys in here. So I'm going to direct this comment to you. As you can see, it's okay to cry. Not to bury it. It took me a long time to kind of accept that. That it's okay not to be okay. So for all the guys in here, I want you to repeat after me. It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
Because it's completely fine. It's completely fine. Society has generated us into being, these big, strong, good looking, I'm tooting my horn. I'm tooting my horn. FYI. To be these strong guys that we got it. We got it. Don't worry about the milk, cheese, and bread. We got it. Don't worry about the bills. We got it. Don't worry about this. We got it. Like we never get the opportunity to say, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And we should be allowed to say that. And you guys are allowed to say that. Don't think that your wife, your girlfriend, or you know, the girl off Tinder, you can't tell them that they're okay. That wasn't funny. And if she says it's not okay, then swipe left. It's okay not to be okay. It's totally fine. Women are more emotional. Yeah, you guys carry. If there's women, are there any women in here? Say hello.
Hello.
So we do have some women here. So you guys are very emotional creatures, and you guys express a lot, and we need to learn from that. Like if you have a wife or you got a spouse, it's okay to kind of balance that out. Where maybe the wife carries a little bit of the burden, and the husband is a little bit emotional, but we don't express that as much, and I think we need to. We need to bring that out because that balances out family life. It balances out our mental health. It balances out us not having to feel like you gotta wear this freaking armor all the time, because we don't. Like I just walked in here, I don't know how many people are in here. I have no idea, but I'm 6 feet 230 or 220, sorry, and I lost weight, and I'm bawling my eyes out up here, yeah. And am I okay with it? No, but it is what it is, and you gotta kind of just start living your life. The biggest thing, I'm gonna share this with you guys. So I had 48 girls this spring that I coached for spring basketball, all from grades 5 to grade 12. And on Wednesday, we had Wellness Wednesday. So 45 minutes before end of practice, we'd all meet in the middle of the gym. And we'd all sit down, and they'd be taking their shoes off or stretching or having water or whatever. And we'd share challenges. And I told them about everything that happened to me. Coach Sheldon got beaten up today and somebody stole my backpack. Coach Sheldon got spit on. Coach Sheldon got called a blind nigger. And I tell them all that and I cry. And I want them to know that it's okay. It's okay that a lot of them look up to me like I'm their father because they don't have a father. Yeah? And they look at me and they say, wow, Coach Sheldon's crying. Wow. He's real. Like he's not inferior. Even though when I'm on the court and they don't do something that I told them to do, they piss me off. And they know it. Yeah? So I can be scary, Coach Sheldon, too, right? But they know that I'm real. So a lot of them, and I'm not gonna say all of them, but a lot of them come up to me and tell me what's going on in their heads. I had one of the a preliminary all-star guard in Vancouver come up to me. She went to got into the University of Ottawa last year, and she came up and pulled me into the teacher's lounge and said, I'm so glad you're sharing your stuff with me. And this is like August of this year. And she told me in June she was trying to commit suicide, and she asked me to feel her wrist. And she was trying to kill herself because of all the pressure. And she was a black girl, adopted by a white family, which white family, they're fantastic. The Taylors are amazing. They just didn't know this about her daughter. And she couldn't share that. And then one of the guys that was at practice, and he happened just to be at practice shooting around. He asked me if he could shoot. I said, yeah. And then he was still there during the talk, and he came up to me as well and said, I have no idea how to talk to my mom and dad about X, X, and X. I have no idea, but I want you to help me. So we have to be able to take off this, whether it's in front of your kids, whether in front of your coworkers, whether it's in front of your friends, pull off this armor and be, like I said, it's okay not to be okay. It's completely fine. It doesn't change who we are. I'm still kind of cute, and I'm still smell good, and I'm in shape, but I cried. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure if this was, obviously there's a lot of women and men in here, but I'm sure if this was a room full of single ladies, I'm sitting here crying, I bet you my phone would be blowing up. Yeah? I wouldn't be single for that long. So it's kind of, so for any single dads in here, use it to your advantage, because it may be your next wife, but it shows a different character that we all have in all of us, but men mostly. Like it's in there. We just gotta dig it out. Now, if you're a single dad, let your kids know, hey, I'm not okay, and here's the reason why. And you will be. That's why it breaks my heart that my son Jaden isn't part of my life now, because him and I are best friends. We shared so much, and he was there. Literally, I'm not even gonna lie to you, he was the last face I saw in front of blind. The last. So it's fine. And we got to be able to go out there and leave these doors of this building or wherever we are, be able to go outside and know that it's okay not to be okay. It's completely fine. You need that day, take the day. You need to talk, talk. You need to share, share. And if you need to cry, cry. And if you need to put it on your Plenty of Fish or Tinder or wherever, date app, do it, because I'm telling you, it shows realness, it shows rawness. It shows people that, you know what, this person can be vulnerable. There's nothing, I don't think there's a weakness. I thought it was weakness to be vulnerable. I did. I believed in it. I said, there's no way nobody's never gonna see me cry. I'm not gonna show my weakness. And if I need to be weak, I'll be weak in the shower or in the bathroom, on the toilet, in my own world. I'm not showing the world I'm vulnerable. Guess what? I'm blind. So I'm vulnerable. And people see me, yeah? So they see me walking around with a stick holding on somebody's shoulder. Yeah, they see my vulnerability. So I'm like, surprise, I'm vulnerable. And here are my emotions. So there you go.
I think those are really important things to address, especially with, again, if we're looking to impact the next generation of children, we want our children to be able to see their fathers or uncles or male caregivers, like you said, be vulnerable, right? We want to teach them that it's okay. You actually already pulled out some of the quotes that I was going to use.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Just that notion, it's okay not to be okay. You said this to, in one of your rallies to students, and you also said adults and kids face constant pressure to always be on.
Yeah.
That notion of the armor, the mask,
Yeah.
and why it's important to let some of that go.
Yeah.
Because it's exhausting to wear a mask and that armor all the time.
Always.
I'm gonna just throw it out there just to give you a little bit of a breather. What are some things that either hold you back, or what are some things that you have done to take off some of that armor, to unpeel the mask that you wear in the different facets of your world, whether it's professional or personal? What's that been like for some of you?
I'll
Yes.
go. Sheldon, first, I just want to say thank you for everything you shared. I think to answer your question, is starting a conversation. For me, golf has kind of been one for my mental health. You know, to be out there with three of my, closest friends, to be able to talk for about 4 or 5, sometimes 8 hours in a given round, but to be able to talk and just kind of let that armor down and it's like, hey, how was your week? And just to be vulnerable with your friends, and then kind of taking that, home, talking to my wife, hey, how was your round? Great, we had a conversation about X, and this is how I was feeling, right? And to be able to share that, I think that's one way to let the armor down.
Talk to who you can, those supports, right? Any other thoughts?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll try to get through this because wow, was that moving? I think it's moments like this, right, where, because I know Curtis and I are now motivated to do something to keep this. You can't have 25 people take their lives. Like that's, then how many of them? I'm sure all of them thought about it, right? So I think what we can do is get people to feel this, right? Because feeling what you've gone through, I'm not living that, but I'm feeling it. Like to have your son be the last thing that you saw, like that shook you, so I'm incredibly moved. And I just think this is what's required. Like, there needs to be 1 million people that watched you walk in and be vulnerable, because I don't think that could have set this off in any better way. And so I'm grateful to be in this room. I'm grateful to have not expected this, because I'm telling you, Curtis and I do this for this reason, and what you've gone through and what other people are going through will be amplified, because it's, so I think this is required. You need people to feel this, because what you're going through is something I'm not, but I can feel it, and so that's, so thank you. I'm sorry, everybody, but yeah, I'm vulnerable. I'm a dad. That's what they've given me. But yeah, so thank you. 'Cause I think this is what's needed. We need to feel this, and I feel it.
Thank you. that's one of the reasons why we wanted to host something like this, is to engage in conversations that typically aren't. And you're right, it's conversations like this that can amplify the message. So thank you. Yep, go ahead.
I've had a really tough time understanding why things happen. What I envisioned and planned for my future and the future of my family was on track. It was what I wanted, it's what I dreamed of. And my wife had different thoughts and different plans and decided that that's not what she wanted. And so she left, and she, for lack of a better term, she kidnapped my son, and I've been fighting every day to get him back. Today he gets to sleep over back in his house, in his home. And I had thoughts of suicide myself. So much so that I pinned it on her. And I told her that she's gonna have to explain to my son why I'm not around, because it's her fault. And it's not right of me to ask. It's not fair to her, to me, and especially my son. So now I'm a 180. There's nothing that can change my determination to be the best for my son, because I have to be his role model. He doesn't have it, I don't want to say easy, but he doesn't have the future that I envisioned for him. And so I have to take that extra step to have that fight. It was even a fight for me to just come here today, and it's easy just to throw your hands up. You're like, I'll worry about it later, or I'll deal with it, you know, when things come up, and not be proactive about it. And I feel like right now I'm confident in my relationship with my son, but I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know what the future's gonna hold. And so I appreciate you coming down to help invigorate and let me know that everyone has their own challenges, and it's important to keep the fight and do what is right, no matter what the consequences, because that's what matters.
Thank you for sharing. I'm just gonna read something also that you said in the documentary, Sheldon. Short-term goal is just to be better as individuals every day. To come at the situation and say, yeah, life's not that bad. You can pivot out of anything you're presented with. It's what you do, it's what you choose to do, what your decision, and how you're going to pivot. And I think it speaks to, you have a choice, inevitably, as to how you want to go in this direction. Can you speak a little bit about that, and then you have a choice as to how you're going to view and approach a situation?
Well, you know, it's just what this gentleman
Yeah.
just said.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he said, or what the gentleman behind him said. You know, we all got choices. And so, you know, I was given a choice whether to go left. I don't know my left hand.
Either
Left or right. Yeah? And I decided to go left, not once, but twice. Because I thought, just like this gentleman just talked about, I thought that was the way to go, right? But you hit the nail on the noggin. Like, if I did that, that's a selfish move. Because yes, I'm taking myself out of the equation, but what does your son have to ask or think about when you're not here? And what's the story being told? Yeah? So, we do get to make these choices, but it's hard. It's hard to make those choices because you want to make the right choice, but the right choice may be the hardest choice, and you have to go through mud and dirt and rocks and snow and, you know, all this other stuff. Or you can take the easy route and say, I'm out. How many of you guys know what a Spartan race is?
I was just gonna point that up.
Oh, you're gonna go, I'm sorry. I'm still listening.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry. Who's hosting? Me or you? I'm just kidding. I'm just here. I'm just collecting dust. Okay, you go for it.
No, I was just gonna say.
I want to just let me finish. You can have that. You can have that. I just want to finish the choices thing. Is because if we tell or if we allow those around us, whether that's friends, golfing, whoever it is, if you allow them to know that you've got choices and here are the choices that you're going to make, it kind of allows your shoulders to go like this to this, because you do have choices. You don't have to, for the dad that just spoke, you made a great choice, because you're right, your son needs you, like 120%. You're his role model, and he's gonna look up to you more than you ever thought. At the beginning of this video, did you guys see me playing basketball with Jaden? So that's our bond. I told him to close his eyes and picture things with me, and I don't lie. Like I don't know why I keep telling you guys this, but he almost got in a fight at Christmas time. We were walking through the mall, and some guy kicked my stick, and then I'm holding Jaden, and then I'm like, Jaden, where are you? And he's halfway down the mall chasing this guy. You know what I mean? So that your son needs you. He absolutely 220% needs you, and it's easy. It's easy to turn left. It's easy. When I say I do this, but when I tried to commit suicide last March, I had a gun. I told my friend to put the bullets in the gun, not to let me know where they went. I went upstairs. I played that song. I put the blankets up to my shoulders, and I clicked the gun twice. And then I put the gun down. The first thing I thought about was my son. And I got mad at myself. I thought, what the hell am I doing? Why am I trying to make a choice like this? He needs me. Yeah, he's not here right now. But he'll feel my energy. And God will put him back in my world. So even though it's easy for us as fathers, or even mothers, to make those decisions, to take the easy route, you do have choices. And it's hard sometimes to make the right choice. It's hard, super hard. But once you make that right choice, it's kind of like you feel like, okay, I've made this choice. I'm in the trenches now. I'm going to go to battle, and that's where I am. Yeah, I'm making the choices. I made the choice to jump on an Air Canada flight, even though they were going straight. I made a choice to get on the flight. I made a choice to come to sit with you folks and chat with you over something that I hate talking about. I absolutely hate it, because it brings me back to 20 months ago where my life completely changed and it was crap. But I could have went left and said, sorry, Christine, I'm not coming. This is too much for me, right? But I decided to go right. So we have these choices that we made. We just need to dig deep, deep, deep down inside and just say, come on, Sheldon. Like, what do you really want to do? Do you really want to do this? Or is that just your left? And if you want to go left, then go left. But know who you're affecting after you go left. And it would have been my son. It wouldn't have been you guys, because you guys wouldn't have known me, yeah? You don't know me. But it would have affected him for sure. So stick with your gut. Your son needs you, 220%. Who cares what it looks like? You go to McDonald's and you get playing the playpen and you get stuck and he's laughing at you. Big deal.
Been there, done that.
Right? That's the choice, That's the choice. Meanwhile, he's off running and doing whatever, So the choices that we get to make are controlled by us. Control the controllables. Yeah? Your ex, and I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, just in my opinion. The ex-wife is the ex-wife, yeah? She made her decision. She made her choice, yeah? She took her route. Leave her be, because you know what? I don't know, start swiping then, because you know what? You will find something else, something better, something that fits you. But right now, she made her choice. Let her make her choice. That's fine. Control the controllables. You can't control her, yeah? So at the end of the day, the only thing you control are you and your son, and the relationship that you have there, and the memories that you have there, and the growth pattern you have for her, yeah? So just focus in on that and keep that progressing. Don't worry about what she's done. She made her choice. Let her live with it. She's going to look back, man. The grass isn't green on the other side. Sometimes that grass is dirt, right? And she's going to learn that. And she's going to come back and she's going to be like, she's going to have a conversation with you But at that point, you didn't need to be strong, you need to be vulnerable. Say, I've made my choice, and here's where I'm at. And just be the best that you physically possibly can. Yeah, sorry.
You're reiterating a lot of the things that we say.
I'm stealing your show, aren't I?
I love it. That's what we're here for. We're here for Sheldon. Anyway. But you bring up the themes of control the controllables, control what you have
Yeah,
control over, right? You can
Yeah.
spend so much energy talking about the X or the system,
yeah,
but what you have in front of you is the
Yeah.
connection with your child and
Yeah.
your desire to improve that. And I think that's what we say to all of our folks
Yeah.
engaged in our program is control the controllable, which is what is in you. So I appreciate that. Was there another question?
that should be on your website. That should be right below it. You know,
Mhm.
control the controllables. Legit.
We're gonna get that up there.
Yeah,
We're gonna get that up there.
yeah. I get royalties.
Okay.
30%.
Yeah, no, just Jamaican patties.
I
I work for food. I work for food. Chrissy's already got me all hooked up. So.
Love it. You brought up the Spartan race. Is
Oh, yeah.
everyone here familiar with what a Spartan race is?
No, not really.
Okay. I'm gonna turn it over to you because,
To me?
yeah, tell us about the Spartan race because
Okay.
when I heard that about this,
Uh,
I was blown out of the water because I would die. So,
So a Spartan race is, do you guys know what a Spartan race is or no?
yeah, not a lot.
No? Okay. So a Spartan race is a 5, 10, or 25K obstacle marathon up a mountain. Yeah. So you go through all sorts of different challenges. Like there's an A-frame that's 60 feet in the air, and you have to climb up one side and then pivot and then climb down the other. There's a dunk wall where you have to go under 5 feet of water and come out. Then you have to grab a rope and pull it up. There's Atlas carry, it's a 120-pound ball that you have to carry. There is, sorry?
Jeez, that's a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
My son's enough.
Yeah, it's a lot. So my goal, actually, Christy actually asked me upstairs. I think she's actually thinks I'm like half part smart and half part crazy. So, because she's like, why would you do that? And I said, it's always been a goal in my life. And then when I went blind, I just thought, well, might as well do it now. Like, shoot. So I did a 5K obstacle up Big White, up a mountain, and I finished 16 out of 20 obstacles. I passed 45 other athletes I could see, and I did it in 3 hours and 4 minutes. And so along my journey, along the mountain, like it's like Whistler. I don't know if you guys have been to Whistler, but it's like there's a village around the mountain. And this guy and his wife, this gentleman and his wife were getting ready to barbecue. So he's on the deck, he's getting the barbecue ready, and he looks over and he sees me running, touching my trainer, and he's like, wow, looks kind of odd. Like, that looks pretty athletic and pretty cute. That's what he said. All right, he didn't say I was cute. He didn't say that. He said his wife said I was cute. So he says, this doesn't look right. Something's wrong. So then he kind of watched me, and then he only saw part of the trail. So he got in his car and drove down to the finish line. And when I say drive, he drove his car. And that's how far this thing was. And so he drove down to the finish line, and he was talking to a bunch of people and saying, hey, what's up with the guy up there, the trainer, the black guy? Like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? I don't understand. They're like, oh, he's blind. He's the first ever blind athlete to do a Spartan race. And he broke down in tears. And so he broke down, and he talked to my best friend, which my best friend is a 6'6" Hell's Angel guy, and big tough guy, but had him crying. So you got this HA guy and this other guy crying over me. And so the guy said, that's crazy because my father just lost his vision last year. And I tried to commit suicide in January because my father's my best friend. And I didn't know how to deal with it. So I just wanted to take myself out of the equation. And then he says, and then I see this guy, and now you're telling me he's blind and he's doing a Spartan race. So he videoed his dad on Facebook, or I don't even know what he did. And he showed him, he's like, Dad, look at this guy, and blah, blah, blah. And they start talking back and forth. So anyway, I completed it. I'm the first blind athlete in North America now to complete a Spartan race. ESPN was there, TSN was there, Global was there, just all these ding dongs were there, droning me and videoing me and all this sort of stuff. I'm just trying to get through the race. But the day before the race, I was listening to my phone trying to find out how to get out. So I was trying to make that choice, the left, yeah?
Yeah.
So I was trying to get out, I was trying to like revoke my number and all sorts of stuff, cause I got sponsored, there wasn't anything for me to get out of, so I was like, okay. So then the morning of, super nervous, crying, again crying, I had breakfast, that came up, then I got to the race, and I don't know, this right foot, for whatever reason, when I get really nervous, it decides to come awake a little bit, and starts moving, and so you thought I was moving now, you should have seen me at the start of this race. So then I started shaking, and I told my trainer, I said, I can't do this. I can't do it. I just can't do it. He's like, we're doing it. I said, I can't do it. So he didn't say anything to me, and I just sat there. And I got out of my own head, and I'm like, okay, nobody's talking to me, I guess I gotta do this. So I did it, and there was parts of the race, I'm not gonna lie, there was, I was vertically like this, going down into kind of like a ravine, and you had to cross a creek, and then you had to climb back up 18 feet. So 18 feet down, across, and then 18 feet up. And that was just part of the course, that wasn't even an obstacle. And so my trainer, I'm holding on to him, and then he's going down, he's sliding, and then he caught 2 rocks and he stopped. I went straight down. So turned my ankle, then I hurt my calf, my hip hurt. Yeah, I'm old, so it's just a bunch of errors. But then climbing back up, visually you can see where you can place your foot and grab, place your foot, grab. I couldn't, so I'm feeling around, and if I fall backwards, I'm falling into the creek. So I have no other way but to go up. And so I'm not gonna lie to you, I was praying to God, saying, you better get me out of this or else you and I are gonna have an argument. We're gonna this is crazy. And so I climbed back up, and once I got up, I said, thank you, but I'm still pissed. I told God, I'm still pissed at you. We're gonna have another conversation when I'm in the shower. So there was a couple times throughout the sprint race I wanted to turn left. My choice was to quit. Call 911, get a helicopter up here and get me off this damn mountain. I was 2,200 feet in the air, and I was going up a vertical mountain, like a ski mountain. It's a ski mountain. And so then that was that guy. And then the photographer, bless his soul, he had all of his gear on him, and he found out that I was blind, so he's trying to run up to the next obstacle and then get up the obstacle with all his gear on to take my picture. So he's wearing all this gear and he's snapping pictures, and he was 3/4 of the way through the race with me, so he's snapping me. They're radioing him, saying you gotta take other athletes' pictures, and he's just snapping me, he's just focusing on me. And then at the end of the race, he came up to me, and I was hunched over, I was so tired. I was hunched right over, trying to catch my breath, and he literally pushed me up, and he just hugged me. And he introduced himself, I can't remember his name. He introduced himself and said his daughter's visually impaired. And it just inspired him of what I just did and what I accomplished. So I think he had me on Facebook, I'm not 100% sure because you got me on Facebook, I don't even know who you are. So I think he had me on Facebook, and he wanted me to meet his daughters in Seattle, so they're gonna come up and meet. But Spartan Race was it was a test. It was a test for me to say, hey, why can't I do this? And there were some obstacles I couldn't do, physically could not do. There were some obstacles that I tried that I almost didn't do because mentally and emotionally, there was a lot of tears. There was a lot of, please, I don't want to. I was like a little kid, I don't want to. And my coach was like, no, you're here. And then I just pushed myself through it. So I accomplished that. So yay for me.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the things I told the Spartan people at the end, Spartan Canada, is I want a bunch of blind people to do the Spartan race next year, because I'm tired of people saying, okay, so to be honest with you, the word disability is gross. It's ugly. It's disgusting. I hate it. I'm not disabled. I walked in here. I flew here. I dressed myself. I'm fine. I'm not disabled. I have accessibility challenges. Yeah. Like, do I walk in the doors? Yeah. Thanks to Deb. Or Brenda doesn't walk in the doors anymore. But they're very good. But I have accessibility issues. Yeah. So I'm not disabled. So when people say, "Oh yeah, you got a disability," who are you talking to? I don't have a disability. What's wrong with you? I'll bench press 305. Let's go. right? So, and I've done that in the gym. People say, oh, you know, I'm sorry about your disability. I'm like, who's disabled here? Like, I can do whatever I want. So, the choice that I wanted to make for that, it was to show people with accessibility issues, you can do this, you just gotta get out and do it. Stop hiding. So the stat I was telling you earlier, 25%, so out of 100 people that go blind, 25 of them commit suicide. Out of the 75% or 75 that are left, 61 of them become introverts from extroverts. And why do they do that? Because they believe society won't accept them. You know what I say? Whenever I'm walking with whoever, if it's Deb or Brenda or whoever, I say they look after me. Yeah, they walk and they, oh, hang on, Sheldon, we gotta let these people go by. I'm like, hell no, like guys, get away. You know, how many of you guys know Ludacris?
Yeah.
You know who Ludacris is? So he's got that song, "Move, bitch, get out the way." You know, that's my song because I'm clearing the way, literally. I think at the game, yes, I went to the Stampeders game, and Deb was like, it's like parting the seas. You're like parting the seas, yeah? So I want people to know that are going through my struggles, or maybe not going through my struggles, maybe going through a different struggle, yeah? That, you know what? You gotta show people that it's, A, it's okay not to be okay, and B, you just need to keep going forward because what your son is gonna see you go through, he might be going through when he's older. And he's gonna say, my dad did this, my dad went through this, my dad was strong, I'm gonna be strong, yeah? So anyway, that's the story.
Incredible, and I love the fact that you have a whole bunch of different theme songs for you. I think we all make our own theme songs. If you see me walking down 17th Ave, and you hear "move, bitch," you're like, "Oh, that's Sheldon." Here he comes, here he is. Yeah, look at him. Clear the way. We have a couple more minutes. I have one more question for you, but I do want to give an opportunity if there are any questions from the audience that they may have.
Don't be shy. It's okay. I don't bite.
And he's cute.
See, he even said it.
See, I got you. I'm going to leave you with the last word. And so another theme that we talk about in our programs supporting men and fathers is just the notion of legacy. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind, whether it's for your children, for your community, for whoever it is? What's the legacy you want to leave behind?
Oh, wow. That's one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What's your legacy?
Mine?
Yeah.
I want to know and be proud that I did everything I could as a father, as a person, because I believe that at the end of the day, I will be held accountable to my God, and I want to know and I feel in my heart that I am the best that I can be, and that I have touched the lives of the people that I care about, and that I made a difference.
That's a good one. What about my golfing friend? What's your legacy? Sorry, I don't know everybody's name.
Curtis.
And I can't see.
I think this foundation, so I'm one of the co-founders of Day One Dad's Impact Foundation. Thank you for the follow. I don't know, but
Me?
yeah.
No, my sister did it.
Okay.
She controls my Facebook. So.
But yeah, I think this foundation is a legacy between myself and Steve. But personally, my legacy is just being this generational difference in, the way I was raised is different than how I want to raise my kids. So I have two boys, 10 and 7, and for me, when I found out I was having a son, I was just like, great, I'm like, I have a blank canvas to be somebody. I'm like, what kind of dad do I want to be? And I want to be engaging, I want to be involved, I want to be empathetic, I think me growing up, Ray said stuff it, shove it, and, they tell me if I want something to cry for, and a number of things, and I think it's just no fault to my parents, it's just that's how they were raised, so, but I want to be that difference for my kids, and I take a different approach to that, so to really answer your question, what's the legacy? It's just my kids know that there's, you can be whoever you want. You can, it's a mental strength to make that pivot and that shift, and not get stuck in a trap. So I tell my kids, do hard shit, and I tell them that every day. in men's competitive gymnastics, and they do a lot of training, but I want them to know that mentally and physically, you can do whatever the hell you want. Just put your mind to it, and yeah, work shit.
That's amazing. What about from one of the ladies over here? I heard a lady over here somewhere.
What's my legacy?
Yeah, what's your legacy?
I mean, it's interesting.
What's your name?
I'm Yolande.
Okay.
I'm one of the peer supports with Family Matters.
Right.
I think for me, it's really awesome hearing your you sharing your experience and just hearing for the other dads. Being a mom of a son, it's really helpful for me to really ensure that I'm instilling in him that shift in the generation and letting him know that it's okay to be vulnerable. And I'm very proud to say I have a really great relationship with my son because I've also shifted from how I was raised to ensure that he's raised differently. I mean, even just you saying, the emotional things, even though it's a lot of things culturally, for Black men and stuff like that in my culture, I think even also for women to not you gotta be strong, you gotta be tough. So being conscious of all of that and ensuring that with my son, I'm supporting and really being mindful of the shift that I can make for him as a Black man growing up in this world. So for me, just a connection, and for me, it's a legacy I want to leave behind because I feel like I've been able to build that with my son, that he can talk to me about anything. I'm sure he doesn't talk to me about everything, but I feel like he knows that. I think one of the biggest thing I've instilled in him is even if I'm gonna be mad about it, it doesn't change how I feel about him, right? So yeah.
Thank you.
Christy.
I knew it.
Yeah? What's your legacy?
Take us home, Christy.
That's funny because I think about that a lot lately. I don't know if that's because I have 3 little ones, and going through hard stuff makes you really think about that more so, I think. For me, I feel like it would be knowing that I've had a solid impact on everyone that I've come across while I was here, in a great way. So for me, it's the connection. So everyone I meet, I'm more of an extrovert, so I feed off of socialization and meeting people. And so just knowing that, like when I'm not here, what they would say is not that I did this or I did that. It's more about how I made them feel.
All right. Any last words, nuggets of wisdom on your end, Sheldon, before we close this out?
I think to answer your question about my legacy, I think I want people to see that I had that attitude that nothing can hold me down, and I'm unstoppable, and they can be unstoppable. And what I'm trying to show people is, yeah, the day is gonna come, the day is gonna kick you in the butt, kick you in the gut, kick you in the face. My man said over here, what choices do we need to make? And I want people to see that, yeah, Sheldon could have made different choices, but he decided to make hard choices and go through the battle and, control the controllables. It's okay not to be okay. And for them to be able to look at kind of what I'm doing and what I've done as I pass on and say, you know what? It's okay not to be okay in terms of like what they need to face and say to themselves, life's a lot bigger than what I have to deal with today, and I have to look forward to tomorrow. So I hope that people just look at, the things, and I hope everybody here just kind of I'm no hero. I'm definitely no hero, and I'm no inspiration or, somebody's put me on a poster on somebody's wall. I'm just a guy that's getting through something different than you, or Yolanda, or Christy, or Mike. I'm just somebody that's just dealing with something different. We all get our choices on how to deal with it, or we're all going through our different choices. And so just know that, you know, you'll be fine if you choose to be fine. Yeah, you just need to make that decision to be okay. And for the guys in here, the only thing I want to leave with you guys is it's okay not to be okay. So can you repeat it one more time? It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
It's completely fine. Rip that armor apart, and I guarantee you'll feel a whole lot better when you know that you don't have to have that armor and that mask on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you're able to express it, whether it's to your son, to your daughter, to your wife, to your girlfriend, to your pillow, or to God. You know, be able to feel comfortable peeling that off and just being who you really are. Watch, you'll see some amazing things happen to you when that happens, because it's almost like a different layer of skin comes off, and it allows you to be different for the people that you surround yourself with. So, but I want to, first apologize for walking in here looking like a freaking guy that just lost the NBA final, sweating and crying. I want to apologize about that, but I want to thank you guys for having me, because these talks aren't easy for me. Anyway, they're not easy, but I know Christy was very. I'll use the political term. She really wanted me out here,
Yes.
and she wasn't gonna let me stop. Even when she was in Antigua, I still was getting text messages, and so she's on holiday. So I want to thank you guys, for having me and allowing me to share my story. And you guys see kind of what I'm going through, but it's a small thing than what you guys are going through. Yeah. So just know we're all in it. We're all in it together. And if we have a room full of good people, it makes the world of bad people about this big. So we just need to keep binding together and doing whatever we're doing together. I commend Curtis, is it?
Yeah.
Curtis and your partner Steve for putting on this foundation. Because I was telling Christy upstairs, this is non-existent in Vancouver. Like there's nothing like this. I was a single dad, and you're fighting through court and stuff like that. I had to do it all by myself. There's nothing like this. Like it's unbelievable. So hats off to you guys, and Mike. Thanks for having me and me stealing some of your thunder, but it wasn't about me.
It was about you. Because you're cute.
But thank you for having me, everybody, and I really appreciate it. Apologize for walking in. I just had to calm down and just kind of get into the groove and calm down a little bit. And but thank you for having me, and I really do appreciate it. So.
We appreciate you. Thanks for getting the conversation started and for us to walk away thinking about what we can do. So, just a couple of things. We will be asking you to fill out an evaluation form. They're outside. We'll get